If you've been thinking about selling your home, you might be wondering when the best time to sell is. And I'm here to tell you that that is actually a bit of a trick question. So stay tuned, you're not going to want to miss this. Hi, I'm Heather with Haven Real Estate Group here in Spokane, Washington, and today I want to talk to you about when the best time to sell your home is. In the world according to Zillow, the best time to sell your home is in May. Actually, the first 2 weeks of May. And the reason for this is kind of the most active time. They determine the best time to sell your home as being 6 days quicker than the average days on market and $1,600 more than the average sale price from their statistics. I've also included a link to the article I'm referencing below in the notes, so you can go ahead and check that out if you want to. Now, of course, in 2020, with COVID, all bets about timing the market are off. We are in just a whole completely different ballgame. But I am going to go ahead and use stats from a more typical year to kind of give you some information about trying to figure out when the best time to sell your home is. In a seasonal market like Spokane, where we have a traditional 4 seasons with a really cold winter and those kinds of things, there does tend to be seasonality to how busy and how slow the market is at different times. For my fellow data nerds out there, I am including a little chart here that kind of shows the closed sales over the last 3 years in Spokane. So you can see that definite arc from January to December with the high peak in the middle of the year. Now keep in mind when you're looking at these numbers, it takes the average home 30 to 60 days to close. So a home that's closed in June probably went under contract in April or May. So why did I say that the quote-unquote best time to sell your house was a little bit of a trick question? Warmer weather, kids' school schedules, and getting those tax returns definitely does affect buyer behavior and how many buyers would be shopping at any given time. But just because there's more active buyers doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get more money for your house or sell it any quicker than at a different time during the year. The truth is, with a good listing agent, you can maximize your home value at any time during the year. So when is the best time to list your home? The answer is the best time to list your home is when it's right for you. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready to downsize and start that next adventure? If there's events in your life that are triggering you to sell, now's probably the right time to sell. Here are a few questions you can ask yourself about whether or that can kind of help you get a gauge on whether or not now is a good time for me to sell. The first one is, what is your equity situation? Do you have positive equity in your home? Equity is basically just the amount your home would sell for minus however much you owe on mortgages. Definitely don't go with Zillow on this one. Any real estate agent will come and give you a free market analysis that'll be a little bit better of an estimate than Zillow. So you want to base your numbers on that. The next thing you want to think about is, do you know where your next move is going to be and what it's going to take to get you into that next home? Definitely, this is not a situation to leap before you look, especially in a really competitive market that's a seller's market. You want to make sure you know where you're going before you get your house listed. If you have a lot of equity, that's awesome. Let's do the homework to make sure we know how much we have to work with, and then go out and get a real clear idea on where we're going to leap to once we get your home sold. And the last thing I want you to ask yourself is, are you emotionally ready to sell? Now, depending on your circumstances, honestly, no matter how long you've been in your home, this is where you live your life, and it is a big deal to let go of this safe place and go to the next safe place. So if you're downsizing, especially, if you're an empty nester that's going to be if you've been in your home for a long time, you need to do some work here to make sure you're emotionally ready to let go of this home and move on to that next thing. One of the best ways to look forward to move on to the next thing is to create some positive goals about why you want to go to this next place. That way, instead of just focusing on what you're losing, we really can also continue to work in that conversation of, man, I am so looking forward to these things. Now, I want to give you a little word of caution to my friends out there who have been counting on the sale of your home as part of your retirement strategy. In most markets in the United States, in Spokane especially, we have been on an upward trend for years where home values are increasing pretty steadily every year. That is not going to last forever. And let me give you a couple reasons why I think that trend isn't going to last forever, so you can kind of get yourself prepared, as this is, for most of us, this is one of our largest investments, our biggest assets, and where we have so much of our, nest egg saved. According to an article from the Berkeley Economic Review that I'm going to link to below, the baby boomer generation has almost 80%, in some areas 80% of the available inventory. They are a big group of homeowners. Now, what's different from past generations are a few things. One, we are living much longer, which is great. Our quality of life has increased, our longevity has increased, so people are working longer, way past when they used to retire, and they're also choosing to age in place longer, which has caused this particular generation to hold on to their inventory instead of, like they would have in past generations, kind of transitioning to the next stage sooner. And what that's created is kind of this false sense of supply and demand shortages that have been driving up home values. So Fannie Mae is anticipating that there will be a max exodus of these homeowners that will flood the market. And as you know, supply and demand is just a pretty basic phenomenon. When homes start to flood the market, its price just drops. So if there's a mass exodus where a lot of people start to sell their home in like a few year time period, we are really going to see home values drop. If you are someone who is looking to get the maximum return on your investment from your home, you are not going to want to be on the far side of this wave of homes being sold. So a couple things you want to pay attention to make sure you don't end up in a situation where you've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars on your home potentially, is the first thing to pay attention to is inventory in your area. At most MLSs, most multiple listing services, most realtor associations put out statistics kind of about the market. And the one statistic that you want to be looking out for is available inventory. In a seller's market, we have very low inventory, and we do this in terms of months. In a buyer's market, we have very high inventory, which, we calculate all of this in months. A balanced market is when it's, pretty much in the middle. A seller's market is going to be anywhere under 4 months. A buyer's market is going to be anywhere over like 6 or 7 months. And that sweet spot in the middle is going to be 4 to 5 months. So if you're in an area where the inventory is drastically starting to go up, now might be the time for you to get listed so you can kind of be on the high side of this wave that's going to be going down. If you're here in Spokane and that's something you want to be kept in the loop on, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to just get you on a list where you can get kept abreast of our current market, or subscribe to this channel. I do market updates pretty frequently and you can keep track of it there. So back to our original question. When is the best time to sell your house? The answer is, of course, it depends on you. If you want to talk this through with someone or you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I love to talk real estate, and you can buy me coffee.